in Kenyan duo Beatrice Chebet and Faith Kipyegon and Botswana's Letile Tebogo.
We have Beatrice Chebet, we have Faith Kipyegon, we have Tebogo, we have the South African guy and the Kenyan guys, especially with the Botswana 400 and the 4x4. They want us to also come to Botswana and do a week training, so they also come to Ghana and do a week training for the competition.
President of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Richard Apokavi, said the country is ready to host the rest of Africa.
So, the LOC has been in place for some time. They are working. I know that they are putting things in place. We don't have a problem with facilities because it's already the main problem we do with the logistics for, accommodation, feeding, accreditation, things like that. And they are working that. So I have no doubt that we'll be ready for the games.
It was very painful that we lost the first position to BBN Gold Stars. Yeah, I mean, we started the game very slow, honestly, but I think after 20 minutes we came in very strongly, and then in the second half, definitely we were the better side. So unfortunately that we lost 2-1. I mean, we were preparing very well, and we put the last game behind us. We could see that the boys are really, really hungry for success. I mean, we need one good game, then we will come back to our old form. So definitely I hope that this Friday will be the turning point for us.
If Atizigi be the one, then go use Dia, make we forget.
Suppose he had a good game.
Which good game? This be good game. I beg. Forget them. They not try. Okay, if we hope for the best, get it. If we hope for the best, but if be this thing, they go the World Cup there. Hey, see yesterday France and Brazil. Who go miss them?
Boss who say we like football party and you. We like football against all the England and the Croatia. They are nyakra. And we say, Austria. How many play Papa Bia? Some teams be cry, other can move with the crowd or Europe. But there's so much 5.
Defenders plus 2 defensive midfield. Still now, it's one with the Oshaponi down. Oshaponi, and young best players play a boy. We never sure say it's my World Cup. Women Yaka World Cup slots never check. Never check out to go for Yenjiska.
Vimbian is a Ghana betting. Now you group as a Konya Panama and Puka, Ghana say Ghana 40 Casas Fala. Even Austrian Puna, Redway and Pu. Now Panama also say what Ghana Fala. They are Charlie. You to me, Ghana, you to me. Send me on the kind World Cup from Beaka Ghana or Scanner Quaco said, Akao, Charlie. You can try baby, Ghana bomb boy.
What do you say? Yempamunu, Yenkope local coach be number coaching. Scanner yes, because Scanner did my place. Me won't fast Wobia. Seriously, me won't fast Wobia because welcome friendly match for you, and now man lose 5-1. Now what happened there? 9 points in the air. Yeah, they are checked out.
Do you know the relationship, the bilateral relationship that we have with Qatar as a government? Then Nigeria will not be in Qatar. It's not. Just think about it. You want to see Buhari in Qatar, and he will gladly come to Qatar. It will be an aberration for Nigeria not to be in the US. Because you can imagine the highest number of educated immigrants in the US and Nigerians. The number of people, where they are going to play the World Cup finals, New Jersey, you call it the Tri-State, New Jersey, New York, and they're all together. And there are lots and lots of Nigeria. So if you think about Nigeria not being, it's something that I personally cannot think about.
Figlio di Roma, capitano, bandiera, campione d'Italia e campione del mondo. Uno scudetto, 2 Supercoppe, 2 Coppa Italia. Scarpa d'oro e Golden Foot, è semplicemente uno di noi. 307 gol, 786 presenze, 567 da capitano. Numero 10, Francesco Figlio di Roma, capitano, bandiera, campione d'Italia e campione del mondo, uno scudetto, 2 Supercoppe, 2 Coppe Italia, scarpa d'oro e Golden Foot, è semplicemente uno di noi. 307 gol, 786 presenze, 567 da capitano, numero 10, Francesco!
Joy 99.7 FM.
Always the same, and this is the job. This is the job of a coach. When you lose, then people maybe trying to bring you down, but I don't really read too many things. Even if we win, like I'm not too much into social media, reading everything somebody writes, and for me it's more important like the people around me, and this is the stuff we talked about the game before. Surely the more people you have, I had 1 assistant before, now we have 3. It's easier because it's easier to delegate, and there's a lot of work to be done, and even now after this evening there's even more work to be done, and it's easier to put it on more shoulders, so that we can divide ourselves. No one for the set pieces, one for the defense, one for the offense. I can have an overview about everything, and always good, I think, to give also get different opinions, different perspective, and at the end we go out and analyze and give the feedback to the players as one. To try and stabilize the defense, and surely it's a situation where it's not so easy to just continue like that. We have to give others a chance also to show what they can, and to show how hard they really want to be in the World Cup, and it would have been the same if we were leading. I would have made changes also. It's easier to make these kind of changes, and also the amount of changes when the results is high. If it's tight, you doubt to change, because really, first of all, we want to win the game. But this is a situation where I think we needed fresh players. Austria changed a lot during the halftime, and I also wanted to bring fresh energy inside, and it didn't really go the way we wanted, to be honest, but this is, like I said, football. It's also psychological thing sometimes, when you have chances, you don't score, and then you concede. It's not easy to take this away, especially for young players, and that's the reason.
I wouldn't. I mean, in the first instance, Ghana qualified for the World Cup with Attoh as a manager, so this is most important that they qualified. I wouldn't, at least we don't overrate this game and this result. I remember that we played Turkey 2 years ago before the Euros. We beat them 6-1 here, but then we played against Turkey again in the 8th final of the Euros, and we lost 2-1, unfortunately, but luckily for Turkey. So I wouldn't rate that too much. And let's wait and see how they play against Germany on Tuesday, and then it might be a completely different story again. Don't be so emotional on your coach. Attoh is a good one, and I don't think that with another manager it would have been a different result.
Different names, but our hearts beat just the same. We are one. if you want to, but the color of my blood remains the same. Tiny bees making honey, painting beautiful colors in this black and white world. Come on and hear me out, my friend. You and I have so much together. There's nothing beautiful as you and I. So this song for us.
Well, that's how we started off this afternoon here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Nathaniel Attoh, as always. Very, very glad to be here. And of course, you do realize what we decided to start with. We decided to start off with some sound bites, some that are familiar, and some that have become familiar over the last 24 hours.
If you're black or white.
A very good one from Akwabwa there. Same, he calls it. But what's all of this geared towards? This is all geared towards Ghana's participation
Beneath the sun
in the upcoming FIFA World Cup.
No lies, no hate. Let love begin. Same means.
And of course, the happenings of the last 24 hours is giving a lot of reason for us to think and overthink. Because of course, when a team is preparing for a major tournament such as the World Cup like this,
they have different names.
One would expect that by now
our hearts
would be recording some decent results. But it was 5-1 against Ghana. And of course, in terms of ratings and form, an even bigger challenge is coming in the next international friendly against Germany. How do we quickly reorganize ourselves? As always, the show is about you and for you. I'll begin with some of the comments that have already come ahead of time. Quite a number of them.
Come on and hear me out, my friend. You and I have so much together. There's nothing beautiful as you and I. So this song for us all to sing, cause we are. It's you and I, we can have some fun. It's you and I, let us celebrate. It's you and I, we can have some fun. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if you're black or white.
All right, so as always, as we do, is 055 1111997, 055 1111997. Uncle Paul sends this one. He says, "Hi Nat, this may be too late, but our coaching is in shambles. No organization, no tactical awareness by the most playing body, particularly the defense. There's no vision. We eat humble pie and call on Hudson Odoi and Eddie Nketiah. We need lots of dynamism in build-up play and accurate passes of the ball. For instance, what Sule Muntari and Michael Essien used to do, which I believe a player in the mold of Odoi offers by a mile. Think about it."
It's you and I, let us celebrate. It's you and I, we can have some fun. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
Mr. Johanna Morin says, "I hope you are doing well. After watching the highlights of the Ghana-Australia match, and although the World Cup is months away, I'm very, very skeptical about our performance at the World Cup."
Let us put away our differences, cheering the champions on the field now. Take my hand, let's walk together through every storm in any weather.
Let's do some of the responses we've had over the last, 24 hours, as I've said. From Kwajumari says, "We need to play together more. Substitution should be done later. The goalkeeper needs to be changed." Frank JKC says, "Change the coach." Arif Husseini says, "Clueless team." And then Kwesi Appiah says, "Those who decided to bring him back after this abysmal performance with the team can explain. What do you expect from a coach whose win record was 33%? Christabel Dazi says, "I think we should change the coach now. No way, we're not going anywhere with this mismanaged set of good players. This is beyond pathetic, coming from the most optimistic Black Stars fan." Thank you very much, Mr. Beldazi. Benji Dukumi says, "Otto doesn't have it in him to the Black Stars unless we want to make an appearance for the sake of it. Atisigi is a waste of time and must not be allowed anywhere near the goalpost." And then Kweku Akwa Harrison says, "We should sack Otto and withdraw from the World Cup using political reasons." Of course, Kweku Akwa Harrison, thank you for that message. You do know that will not be possible. Withdrawing from the World Cup at this time will come with its own, sanctions and all sorts of repercussions that we wouldn't want to go near. So thank you for joining us once again on the show. We'll be getting a varied set of opinions, some from the technical end of things and some as well, from certain aspects of the technical part of the game. And so your messages are still very, very welcome. I know you have been waiting for this time just so you can vent. It's 055 1111997, 055 1111997. There's also a certain fraction of the populace who think that, well, these happen sometimes when you're preparing for the big stage and this should be overlooked. Well, you also tell us what your reasons are for suggesting or for making those suggestions or keeping that stance. All right, so talking about the FIFA World Cup, we do have great memories, especially from the 2006 maiden appearance and the 2010 appearance. Well, the man who served as team psychologist for Ghana's maiden appearance at the FIFA World Cup, a history maker indeed, is here with us. Well, in recent times, you've also heard of him when it comes to agriculture, to be precise, the cocoa sector. Today we're going to discuss pure football because that's our interest and that's what we want to get into. Now, just a bit of background before we get into the conversations with Dr. Yaw Fojo. Back in the time when Ghana was looking forward to making a statement at the FIFA World Cup, we had to prepare. Ghana did prepare. The set led by then Captain Stephen Appiah and of course coach Ratime Djukovic went there and made a good and decent first impression. Now within that team was Dr. Yaw Fojo, who was the team psychologist appointed to take care of the team for that assignment at the FIFA World Cup. I did have a conversation with Asamoah Gyan, who tells me that certain key exercises that Dr. Yaw took him through during preparation for our game against the Czech Republic was what got him to score one of the fastest goals at that tournament and what has now become a historic goal, Ghana's very, very first goal at the FIFA World Cup. And so he joins us here in the studio. We'll be joined by some more guests, some virtually and some here in the studio, as we start looking at this. So let's start it off from, the team psychology end of it. Is there something we're missing? Is there something we're not really taking note of? Because there are those who have also argued that, these players do not necessarily appreciate the stage they're on and the opportunity they've been given based on the majority of backgrounds that they have emerged from. And so because of that, you'd have some of these things happen where there's no urgency and you don't see people want to fight and fight on. Is that really the case? So Dr. Infojo joins us here in the studio. Doc, thank you so much for your time. It's really good to see you.
Good day, good afternoon, Nathaniel. Long time, and good afternoon to your viewers, and listeners.
Very well. Real good to see you. Look, Doc, we've been having these conversations over and over again, and I want to take it from your perspective, and the kind of role you played when we appeared in 2006. When you look at what is happening now, when you look at this for want of a better expression, rehashing or reorganization of the Black Stars team, are we psyched right? I mean, the fans are always looking for results, but we're now just about 70-something days away from this very major assignment.
Thank you very much for the question. I think that I always like to look forward, in terms of some of these challenges, and I suppose we can only look backwards to look forward. And in that respect, the head of the team will be very down at the moment from yesterday's result. Unfortunately, I didn't watch the game, and for a number of reasons, But this is a tough time for being a member of being in the team. But looking forward, there's got to be because the mood and the psyche will not be right. We don't actually. If this was Austria, then you can imagine what will happen with Germany. That will be the thought that's going. But again, just looking back a long time ago, we were not in a too different situation before the 2006 World Cup. If you remember, we went to...
And not to cut you, Doc, and that's the reason why in my preamble I also, talked about the section of fans who also think this is only one of those happenings before the major one. So we shouldn't, conclude a little too early.
No, on the contrary. There's a trend, and unfortunately our results and our body language, our results, etc., have not been very, very encouraging in the last few appearances. So just going back to what I was saying, I think that just before 2006, we had the unfortunate experience at the in Egypt, the CAN, the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. I think where we lost to
and the famous black jersey.
We lost to Zimbabwe in the famous black jersey, which we have never ever worn
back to
worn before. So, and at the end of that experience, there was a really concerted effort behind the scenes to bring all kinds of resources, etc., and to really build the energy and the team. I can imagine, I can compare or imagine a similar situation going into the German game. And so, yes, there's been all kinds of things that have been happening behind the scenes with respect to the team. But frankly, we go into this upcoming World Cup with this kind of performance, and also considering, historically, this is the Black Stars. We just talked about transatlantic slavery a few days ago. I mean, this is not Ghana, and we should really be, apart from me, I hear somebody was saying that apart from our yellow jerseys, which looked really smashing, there was really nothing home to write about the performance. I didn't watch it, so I can't say much, but the results speak for themselves, and there really has to be a deep introspection about how we put our best foot forward, because we cannot afford to go and disgrace ourselves. That will be very, not just, I mean, and this is the US with all the the pride, the racial, and then you go and call yourselves Black Stars and you go and bomb out at a World Cup in the US. No, that's not acceptable.
Doc, tell me from your experience, around a time like this when there is so much pressure, I mean, there's so much public uproar, what will be going through the minds of the senior and relatively established players like a Jordan Ayew, for instance, who now has two big loads on his shoulder? He's the captain of the side. He's the most experienced player in the team as we speak.
And he's Abedi Pele's son.
Exactly.
That's a big load.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, for somebody like Jordan, I think the experience and the difficulty being certain challenges is there. I think it's more the less experienced, and two, I really pity the coach or the team head Otto Addo. I mean, because this is real pressure. And I can imagine again who he's surrounded by. Who does he really lean on to in terms of experience, in terms of actually understanding the dynamics of, I mean, yes, there's a difference between football and you can be a coach or whatever, but there's a difference between football and there's a difference between, in terms of the technicalities, okay, substitute this player, whatever, and then there's just a real difference between how to understand how human beings work and how the human mind adapts or adjusts and whatever under pressure situations like this. So yes, Jordan, I would imagine, as a senior player who's seen it all before and whatever, and of course with the support from somebody like his father, who will be taking things a bit level-headed and cool. I think the less experienced people in terms of...
You mean the less experienced players?
Players, yes. But it cascades right through in terms of, I mean, this is a less experienced players, less experienced coach, whoever else is in there. And I think importantly, again, when we say understanding people, understanding psyche, understanding whatever, in terms of, look, we can be as go and live wherever in Europe, go and live wherever, but there's a certain aspect of us as whether black people, as Ghanaians, as whatever, that is still us. So whether the players are coming from Europe or they're coming from whatever, there's certain nuances, there's certain things that one should be able to tap in that should actually, like I said, whether bring the better side of us, but again, historically, I mean, as a black person, with all, like, I'll come back to them because it was a very important aspect that we played on, especially with somebody like Stephen Appiah. I mean, Stephen understood the whole concept of we were in Germany, this was our World Cup. One of the things we talked about was it Jesse Owens and the 1936 Olympics? People who can get inspired by what actually is happening, can relate to what's happening currently in the world, will see that this is not just any performance and this is not just any World Cup. And the fact that it is Ghana, no, we can't afford to mess up. We can't.
Okay, so let your thoughts flow in at this time. I know there's quite a number of them would have to read at the moment. So Coach Osman Seidu, he is a special aide to the National Chief Imam and also a seasoned analyst and a professional scout. Also, Kwabena Poku is the president of the Ghana Motorsport Association. also previously known as F1GH. I mean, everybody has got thoughts on the subject of the Black Stars. I watched some videos, Coach Osman. I watched a few videos yesterday, and it was just amazing. I mean, those who I'm sure traveled from some of the other European countries by train to come and watch the Black Stars. Kwabna, I don't know what your experience is from last night. Right now that we're building up to the Japanese Grand Prix. I mean, I know that all the F1 fans were hoping that at least the Black Stars will give them a certain level of energy so that we take it into Sunday for this Grand Prix. But then I don't know. Tell me about your experience from last night.
Unfortunately for me, I had to watch the game. I usually wouldn't watch Black Stars games. I probably would just be lurking around watching bits and pieces of it. But I had to watch it based on my 95 work, because one of my clients had sponsored all those perimeter screens on the perimeter pitch showing the commercials, so I had to follow what was going on. But in all honesty, as Doc was saying, we can't take this to the World Cup. This is not. And the thing is, for me, and I actually listened to another analyst on the BBC, and I think some other BBC make the similar analysis. No matter how good players, how much more good players we introduce to this team, it's not going to fix the issue. We can fix the issue within the shortest possible time, based on the team understanding the workload ahead, the coach admitting that his tactics is not helping the team. We have the material, but how we're using the material is not helping us as a nation. Because I watched the game yesterday, it was so disappointing. I heard the coach saying that we had a good first half. No, we did not. We did not have a good first half. I mean, some decisions I felt the referee was not really on our side, but aside that, the Austrians were in to win the game. You understand? They were in to win the game. We were losing 50-50 balls. We were waiting. It's like, when I see these boys play in Europe, they are a totally different material when they're playing for the Black Stars. You could see them waiting for a pass to reach them before they even move, by which time you find these Austrians already moving in for a Ghanaian pass. So I was like, what's going on with that team? Are they... in Chi, we have something we call Frefrekobo. That's how it felt like. It was like we just called everybody from somewhere, come. There's a game, let's go and play. And they could have easily scored as 10. If you ask me, easy. Not for the heroic, I mean, thanks to the heroic saves by Atizigi, who for me probably was my man of the match in terms of the Ghanaian team. The rest, and even Atizigi himself has gotten his fair share of the criticism. Yeah, but Atizigi saved us a lot of goals. They would have scored us more than 5. Yeah, believe me. And to the extent that Jordan scored a very good goal, I couldn't even celebrate it. Yeah. I mean, it was, by all standards, an excellent goal, but I couldn't even celebrate it. Yeah, the technique, the situation, the way he even handled the ball, the control of that ball and scoring that goal was amazing, but he couldn't even celebrate it well. I'm fearing what the Germans will do to us with this kind of play. Because, look, the Germans have also qualified for the World Cup. They are not in here to play. I don't know if you watched the Brazil-France game. It felt like a World Cup game, even though it was a friendly game. The dedication, the constant back-to-back, everybody's goalpost was busy. The French had this amazing free-flowing game. If the French play Ghana right now, they will score us 10, I can bet you.
Coach, thanks for joining us again. It's been a while. Now, let's roll it back a little bit from goalkeeping through the back, where many people have punched a lot of holes. It was obvious in the result as well, through our midfield and then to attack. What did you see?
Thank you very much, Nat. Look, so I'm just picturing the fundraising nights. Yeah. That you had a very good performance as the MC.
Thank you.
Of the program, and it was just looking at Shatawale donating that 100,000, and looking at Stoneboy, looking at the president, looking at the sports minister. The sports minister is doing a great job with support from the finance minister. So outside the pitch, the preparedness, the preparation is going on very well. Now on the pitch, we are having a different result altogether. And it's difficult to really look at these two perspectives if you really want to progress. My credibility is on the line as I speak to you now. I cannot sit here in the name of anything tell you that yesterday's performance was good. There was nothing good about yesterday's performance, and that's a fact. I'm being very objective. Now, there are some school of thought, as you rightly said at the beginning of your program, that things that, matches like this are there to prepare us for the World Cup. So as a matter of fact, the result of the match does not necessarily matter, but it is the performance and the loopholes that you identify to work on. That's really where the issues are, but not 5-1. It reminds me of the 6-1 against Germany, more so when we are going to meet Germany on Monday. Right from the goalkeeper did well, like my colleague rightly said. He did well. You cannot have a perfect situation in association football. Our right back, look, all the 3 goals we conceded, the first 3 goals are defensive blunders. 3 solid goals. And that will not be acceptable in the World Cup. Nobody waits for you. Look at what our right back did with the 3rd goal.
Yeah, literally gifted.
As a player, you have a responsibility of ensuring to protect the ball. But he just let loose the ball without any protection. Gave it to the guy and he scored. Our defensive setup is something we need to look at. Look at the 3rd goal. Nobody was marking. As one of the principles of defense, you're supposed to mark tight any player who is in the 16-yard. Or keep an eye on any player who is running into the 16-yard without being marked. So on all these 2 occasions, we failed as a defensive setup. Let's look at our midfield. Partey was, he's a talented player. You can run away from that. But as to whether or not he was ready to play is a different conversation, for my understanding. Our other chap, the other midfielder, he could do better. But I don't know why the coach decided, even though I'm not at camp, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's a senior coach. But I don't know why you want to put Semenyo on the left wing. When Semenyo is on top form, when it comes to pressing, he would support. On 3 occasions, when I was watching the game, I saw Opoku. Is it Opoku? The lead striker, the number 19 gentleman. I saw him alone with 3 defenders, 4 defenders. He cannot survive. They will swarm him and pick the ball. Who was supposed to support him? It was supposed to be Jordan. Where was Jordan? On 3 occasions, tactically, that's not acceptable. So I want to believe that, look, let us not lie to ourselves and think that we did not use our regular players. How many regular players were in the game? They were more than 60% or 70%. Yeah. So for me, really, I will not give up. I will not say that's the end. And I would even have more hope in our match against Germany because of what happened yesterday. Because in association football, every game is a new game. And I want to believe that they will learn lessons from what happened yesterday. And when they are on the pitch, they would be asked and they will be prepared, they will be forced to give their more than 100% to ensure that they gain their credibility back. I'm not expecting a win against Germany, but I am expecting a good performance. Maybe perhaps our approach to the game tactically with the 4-4-2 has not helped, because most of the time they were in possession and we were doing the running. As a team, if you are doing the running, you cannot play. You will not enjoy playing. You need to possess more. And we are not creating chances. The people were, they were just better than us. They were using the spaces. They were using all the advantage they had as a team against us. For me, yesterday's game is absolutely nothing to tell them about. But I strongly believe we can learn from it. It will alert us against Germany, and we should be expecting a better match against Germany. Our next match after Germany will be to play Mexico. Now, after Mexico, we have another match on the 2nd of June. So I think that the match against yesterday's match and Germany's match is a match that we should use to prepare. The match against Mexico, there's nothing like try and error anymore. And then our match on the 2nd of June. I strongly believe it could be fixed with no any external input like the coach. The coach has one of the best technical brains around him. This is the first time that we are going to the World Cup with a lot of coaches. You've been there. Yeah. You can testify. Look at the number of coaches that are supporting the coach. We do not have a coaching problem.
I think we don't have a coaching problem?
We don't.
Okay.
I agree to a certain extent with
Coach.
what coach is saying, and I would stay away from the technical side of things. I think that we have an energy problem. When I say we have, something is not being transmitted through to the players, whether it is the urgency, whether it is the but there's just a lack of passion, a lack of drive, lack of whatever, and it's been there for some time. And it's almost like there's also a lack of consistency in whether sustaining whether that drive, that energy, or that will to somebody would say the will to die for the nation, or the will to make things happen. We're not competitive. We're not.
Now, this is a thought that many fans have shared in recent times. Kwabna, I want to pick your thoughts. Now, I want you to tell me this from two ends. You're in the space, you're in the marketing communication space, and around this time, you have a lot of business coming through from people wanting, their travel to be arranged for them, the content around their travel and everything. And you're a fan as well. And you find yourselves in spaces, you find yourself in a lot of spaces where people give constructive feedback and emotional feedback. Tell me what it is with the coach and what the fans are saying from what you've picked up. Let's just limit ourselves to, last night and what happened last night. Just last night. What are people saying? What are the fans saying based on your interactions from last night?
Well, again, I'm not a technical person when it comes to coaching. I'm just listening on the chatter, which is on both hearsay of what people are saying and then on social media as well. Now, when it comes to the communication space, there's a lot of money being spent. People want to travel. People are buying jerseys and all of that. So there's a lot of passion about the game. From what I saw and what I heard yesterday, from where I was seated watching the game, everybody was, let the coach go, let the coach go. We are not seeing the passion. We are not seeing anything. The cameras pan onto the coach, and the look on his face, as you were saying, the energy, he looked a little bit like somebody who looks clueless. He wasn't showing that once in a while the referee will take some bad decisions and he goes to yell out and the referee will come and caution him and all of that. People were looking at those body language and body actions and they were not seeing that, kind of passion from him. And then also, when it comes to the passion of which the people have for the game, somebody literally said, I spent 200 cedis to buy this jersey. Even if you're going to lose, let me see some passion in you in playing the game. But I am here watching the game and I'm not seeing that kind of passion. I deliberately went to the stadium to watch the game, not because I wanted to go watch the watch party, but I wanted to see the reaction of the fans. As a marketing person, too, I can go back to my client and tell my client, hey, the buzz is there, they're this, they're that. But Nat, I called one of my clients after the game, and the first thing he told me was that, come now, but did you see any, people were just sitting there bored, and the game was so boring, and do you think it is something we should put our money in? That's the reaction I actually got from the client.
So it means that we what here is not your regular 5-0 loss. This has a lot of implications.
A lot of implications because the sponsors and companies are looking at the passion. They are trying to see, okay, even if you are losing the game, play with some passion. Look, we all watched the 2006 World Cup, our first time we went to the World Cup. That team is one of the most excellent teams we ever had. We complained about the selections, we did all of that. But when we went to the World Cup, we saw the passion. Prior to the World Cup, we saw the passion. The day Ghana beat Czech Republic, I have never seen people celebrated like... you go to the World Cup and you get a team like Czech Republic, which had all the stars in it, and you whip them in Germany. That was one of the most beautiful games I ever watched. 2010, South Africa, we all saw it. The passion in that team was amazing. fast forward when they went to win the World Cup in this team, was it in Egypt?
Yes.
You saw the passion. But this year, since 2014, we've seen a whole lot of, it's like, we are there, we are not there. Are we playing with that kind of passion? Is it really? Look, go to some countries and you can tell me from lying. Teams like England, it's a privilege to be selected to the national team. Teams like Brazil, it's a privilege to be in the national. It's not about the money. It's about the energy he was talking about that you bring to the team. It's about the passion you bring to the team. Again, I will reference the Brazil-France game 2 days ago. I watched that game 90 minutes, full 90 minutes. Look, it felt like a World Cup game. From first minute to 90th minute, the passion, the drive. Brazil, if they had been given another 2 minutes, they would have equalized that and turned it into 2-2. You understand? And mind you, France scored their second goal with a red card, with one player off the pitch.
Yeah.
You understand? So sponsors just don't look at, okay, it's Black Stars going, so let's go, boom, put our money there. Some people will do it. They don't really mind. All they're looking for is the eyeballs. But some sponsors also want to see, okay, my brand is talking about passion, my brand is talking about, I want to see that thing in the Black Stars, that thing, that small thing. Coach said that we are going to play against Germany. We're not going there to go and win the game. But even if we are going to lose that game, which probably 90% we might lose that game, we need to show that, okay, the Austrian game, we learned our lessons. We came here to defend. But the only thing is that these Germans are just too good. That's why they beat us. So even if we're going to lose, let's not lose by those kind of margin, as if we really don't care. Look, people are pumping millions of dollars into this team. We all saw it at the fundraising. Do you think, I'm sure these guys are sitting back going like, wow, I just paid 5 million for this team, Charlie. Was it really worth it?
Well, let's cross over to London. Benedict Owusu is a former producer of this show. He's also been named GJA Sports Journalist of the Year before, and he's got thoughts on this particular subject. He's one who's also followed the Black Stars around, and has an interest like all of us. Benedict, good to see you again. We could have sat and had a conversation in better circumstances. It's not a pretty day. What can we draw out of this really? And are there any arguments that have been brought forth by the fans that you may disagree with? For instance, those who talk about goalkeeper Benjamin Asari and how he probably could have done a better job and all of that. Benedict. Kindly unmute for us, sir.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, and greetings to your listeners and those in the studio. So, I mean, if you want to look at positives from yesterday's game, for me, absolutely no positive from the game yesterday, and I am actually surprised that people are surprised, because let's be frank with ourselves. This is our level, For some time now, I feel that we've not been very honest with ourselves in looking at our Black Stars, because we still look at our Black Stars with the eye of what we saw in 2006 at the World Cup 2010, and probably maybe to a large extent when we were reaching the semi-finals of the Africa Cup of Nations. This has been our level for some time now, and we need to accept that this is where we are. And that admission is what we keep failing to, get to. And I also don't blame people for not accepting this, because you have leaders who are leading our team in the GFA president at the fundraising which you hosted, mentioning that we fear no foe. So when you communicate like that, what it does is that it raises the hopes of people. And when things go south, that's when you get a kind of reaction we're seeing after yesterday's game. So for me, there are absolutely no positives to draw from yesterday's game. I've just come to the admission that this is where we are, and we need to accept it. And in accepting it, that's when we communicate well to the people and let them understand that, you know what, we are not the Black Stars that we used to be. We are in a phase where we are trying to change things, because the results we've seen over the period from the last 4 years with our national team, we were not at the last Africa Cup of Nations, not. Look at the teams we beat to qualify for the World Cup: Chad, Madagascar. These are countries you literally could use Asante Kotoko, and I'm not belittling these countries, but these are countries you could use Asante Kotoko and motivate them at the Black Stars level and still be able to beat them. So we just have to get to that level of admission and say, hey guys, this is where we are. Let's communicate and communicate well to the people. Let them understand when we get opportunities such as authorities got at the fundraising. Let's not raise the hopes of the people and let them know that we've done something extraordinary in the last 2-3 years. That we're going to beat Germany, we're going to beat Brazil, we're going to beat France. We are not there yet. So that communication must come in for people to understand. And I always believe that when you communicate and communicate well to people, that's when they buy into the idea and also will work with you and say, okay, even if we go to Austria and we lose by 5-1, we have been told that we are not at the level that we are. And we've all seen the result in the last few games that we are not there because we were not at the AFCON. We struggled to win a single game in our qualifying for the AFCON. We couldn't beat Niger at the Accra Sports Stadium. So if we get the opportunity and we raise the hopes of people and let them think that we're going to win the World Cup, that's why I always have problem with some of our analysts and some of our ex-players when they get the opportunity to speak on platforms such as ours. They go like, we'll get to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Who are you gaslighting? How are you going to get to the semi-finals of the World Cup? Let's be very honest with ourselves and tell us and let's understand that yes, we are not there yet. So until we make that admission and let people understand, when we go out there and we lose in the manner in which we did yesterday, that's the exact reaction we're gonna get. Now people are saying Otuado should be sacked. I doubt and I don't think Otuado will be sacked. I mean, based on what even the FA president said at the fundraising, that the intangible asset Otuado has put together, that makes us, it puts us in a very good place to be able to go shoulder to shoulder with teams like Austria and Germany. So there's absolutely no way the Football Association is going to sack Otuado. Otuado is going to be our man for the World Cup. But what I would say is that he needs to get his act together. Play players in their position. Caleb Rinchi plays very well as a defensive midfielder at his club. He comes to the Black Stars and you put him at right back. You are asked and you said, we don't have right backs. Are they trying to tell me that with all the people that we've put together to take charge of our team, 4 video analysts, assistant coaches, we don't have a right back under the sun to play for the national team, whether in Ghana or anywhere? We've brought in Marvin Senaya, who plays very well in the French league as a right back. So why didn't he start him? Why would you put a player who we all know his position is a defensive midfielder? Why would you put him at right back? This is not club football. If it's club football, then you'll understand, because you have the opportunity to train with these players every day. Pep Guardiola has done that in Matheus Nunes. When Matheus Nunes was coming to Manchester City, he was playing as a forward at Wolves. But today, if you're talking about one of the best right backs in the Premier League, you will not mention Matheus Nunes' name. Just because he's been consistent with the coach at training. But this is a national team. When you come, you only have probably maybe 4 training sessions and then you have to go play a game. Why would you put a player who is noted or who plays at his club and has that orientation and mind in a defensive midfield to play at right back when you've actually called a right back and the person is on the bench? Why would you do such a thing? So I think these are some of the things that Otuado also needs to check. Even if you put players in the rightful positions and things do not go well and the performance is good, I'm sure nobody will talk like the way people are talking. And you should also realize and know that Antoine Semenyo is our best player out there now. How do we get the best out of him? We can only get the best out of him by building a team around Antoine Semenyo. Let's build a team to play to his strength. If we make him look like he's also one of the players that will come to the team, then that's the performance we're going to get every time he turns up for the Black Stars. And it will be sad that with what Antoine Semenyo is doing currently at his club at Manchester City, playing so well, that the club these days have consistently been using him as the face, even with their communication of players that are joining their respective national teams for the international break. They are using Antoine Semenyo's picture they are promoting his videos. Clearly, they see him as the face of the team now, even more than Haaland. So if we have such a player in our team, we don't treat him as any ordinary player. Let's build a team to play to his strength. That's the only way we'll get the best out of him. It will be sad that such a player will have such an underwhelming national team career, but he goes to his club and he's like the best player we've ever seen in our team. So I think these are some of the few things. One, we need to come to that realization and admission that we are not as good as we used to be, and that we are building a team, and let's communicate well to the people to understand, and stop, telling people we are going to win the World Cup. We can stand shoulder to Germany. We can't. We are not there yet. And also build a team around your best player and play players in their natural position. I think that if we do these things and we even go into the game against Germany, which I believe we will turn up, because it's always like that with our national team. If we do these things and we go and things do not even go well, I'm not sure people will be too gutted and will be, sharing the kind of reaction that they are sharing on social media and all other platforms.
Okay. All right. Let me do this message. It's from Dominic Odro Entry. Now, Dominic Odro Entry is the president of the Global Africa Trade Advisory Chamber. Okay. Now, he also believes that Otto Addo must go. Now, he says the GFA should engage Kwesi Appiah for 6 months and make him the head coach. And Otto Addo can just be assistant for only 6 months as well. The coach needs to be sacked for someone to lead. Thank you. Dominic Odro Entry, thank you so much for that message there. So he wants us to go to the Sudanese FA, tell them that, Charlie, you know what? We need Kwesi Appiah for a few months. You loan him to us. Let's get this job done, and then after that, you can have him again.
If you allow me to respond to that interesting suggestion, again, Otto Addo, and I've been in some personal communication with him, but even just what the colleague from the UK was saying just now, and having identified a problem as a right back, and bringing a right back into camp, and not playing that right back, what you are conveying is a lack of confidence in not only yourself. You are conveying the lack of confidence in the player, but you're also conveying a lack of confidence in your decision making and yourself, and that translates, leadership and organization, and the decisions that you take, they impact and they cascade downwards. So what was the point in bringing this new player, Senaya or whatever, from his team to come and join and dance and introduce them to the team, when you actually didn't have the presence of the mind and the confidence to play him? No. So that is not even just a reflection on the player. It's actually the reflection of what you as the leader of the coach are transitioning or are cascading downwards, and that's not helpful. And I must say again, there was a very interesting article that was written by some UK journalists about when we failed to qualify for the AFCON, and he said it was a serious travesty to have, and let's be honest, we will say we do have our level, whatever, but we still have some very good players. And as he was saying, we should build our team around these players to be able to shine. But to the extent that we have some jewels in our play and we are not able to bring the best out of them, that is a problem of leadership, and it is not necessarily a reflection on the abilities of our players.
So I just want us to look at this from a different perspective. Right before we play our last qualifier, I think that was against Mali or so, the issue of terminating the appointment of Otto Addo was something that was being discussed all over. But there was a reason why objectively you cannot make any good decision or bold decision on that, and that is he keeps winning his matches. He had impressive performance. If you look at the winning rates, if you look at the winning rate, I'm looking at my colleague in UK and he's laughing. He had impressive performance. If you look at the winning rates, there is no way you could sack such a coach. However, even that time, there were people who were calling for his head. So for me, it's just like saying that, I mean, with all that Nat is doing for Joy FM, with his performance and what have you, he comes one day because his wife did not treat him well in the house and he didn't perform well. You want to say that's the end of my Nat? That's not fair. I mean, that's not fair. Look, and the fact is that you cannot sack, Ghana cannot sack Coach Addo now. It's too late. 2 months. We have only 3 opportunities to group the players to the World Cup. Only 3. Our match against Germany, against Mexico, and then on the 2nd of June. You can't bring a new coach. What we need to do is to force them up their game. Look, I'm not saying the ultimate result in football is to perform well and win matches. But at this stage, you could manage with winning without even good performance because it's a competitive game. So if he had lost only 1 match, you want to castigate him like, I mean, it's not fair based on data. My good friend from UK, I'm talking about data. It's not fair to say because he's lost 5-1, that's the end of Otto Addo. No, he's performed well. Let's give him, let's watch them. But it is not strategic to change Coach Addo now. What we need to do now is to put in measures that would make Coach Otto Addo up his game with his backroom staff. But you cannot bring a new coach now. Where does he start? So for me,
please can I come in?
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
So I don't think I've mentioned that we should sack Otto Addo. I've not made that admission or statement on this show. I mean, the time for me that we should have fired Otto Addo was after he failed to qualify us for the AFCON. That was a no-brainer. That, you know, for Ghana to be in the same group with Niger and all the teams that we were in a group with for the Africa Cup of Nations qualification, that we couldn't make it, that we should have fired him. The FA decided to stick with him. I mean, of course, they called the shot, so they did that. He qualified us for the World Cup. After qualifying for the World Cup, it will be so not right for anyone to say, you know, he couldn't qualify us for the AFCON, but he's done the World Cup qualification, we should fire him. Because we always say that a coach is as good as his last game, and he did justice to the World Cup qualification. So, of course, he's earned the right to be there, right? So I've not made that admission that Otto Addo should be fired. And I know even if we make calls that he should be fired, he will not be fired. He will be taken to the World Cup. But then again, if you're talking about sacking coaches before tournaments, Ivory Coast sacked their coach in the middle of the tournament, and they went all the way to win the tournament. It's never too late to sack Otto Addo if they really want to sack him. But I am not calling for his sack. So I just want us to get that distinction. I'm not calling for a sack, but it is never late to sack Otto Addo if the Football Association really wants to sack him. You know, because we've seen coaches sacked in the middle of tournaments, and those that came in as caretaker roles still went on to win. We've done so much for him that we expect to see more, because one, he failed to qualify for the AFCON. What did we do? We brought in more hands, right? He qualified for the World Cup. That's when the Football Association brought in the technical advisor and brought in other few people. Just few weeks ago, the Football Association did another good thing that we all called for. Let's get more hands to help Otto Addo, which they've done. And if we've seen that in the aspect of the coaching, they've beefed up the aspect of the coaching to help Otto Addo, and performances are not improving, that's when, of course, people will start having doubt that why must it always be that man who is leading that doesn't get a result, but we keep helping him and still doesn't work. When are we going to say that, okay, now you are the problem, step aside, let's get another person? So I'm not calling for his sack, but I'm also saying that it will never be late to sack Otto Addo now if they want to sack him. Because we've done so many things for him to excel and succeed, and they keep doing it. You know, he brought in his own assistant coach. If you remember, with John Painter, the assistant coach was fired, and John Pinto was kept. Before the World Cup qualifiers, they gave him 3 more to add up to John Pinto. And if you remember, Desmond Ofei joined the team as well with 2 additional help. He qualified for the World Cup. Now he's gotten help as well. But we need to see something. That's all we are calling for. We need to see something. If that something is not there, it does not inspire confidence, for people to follow the team. And I'm sure, Coach, you will not want to follow this team to the World Cup and get disgraced as we saw yesterday. That is not what we want to see. Even if we are not winning, let's see some improvement in terms of performance. And I'm sure if we had even lost 2-1 and we saw very good play with the players and, the performance was good, we wouldn't be getting the reaction we are getting. The reaction we are getting from people is purely based on what they witnessed yesterday. And no amount of data in terms of results from the World Cup will do justice to what happened yesterday, because a coach is as good as his last game. And yesterday's game was terrible. Unless you disagree with this.
No, I don't disagree with you. I think you are making a very good point. But the fact of the matter is that you cannot also juxtapose this with the fact that because he lost a match, he should go. I'm trying to build up. And my main point where I'd wanted to end is the fact that, look, as a coach, I think if a coach is not doing well, he should be sacked. We coaches know that you could be sacked. But the point is, do we think as a country that the Black Stars problem is a coaching problem? I mean, that's a question we need to answer maybe perhaps after the
I want to answer you. If you want me to answer you, I can answer you. It's really a coaching problem, because if I don't know, what's the name of the doctor? I've forgotten his name. He made a fantastic point that
Dr. Infojo, yes.
Yeah, Dr. Infojo made a fantastic point about the jewels, the players. Coach, you and I know that it will be to say that we don't have players now will not make sense to me or not make sense to anyone. Look at where our players are playing. With the exception of Kudus Mohammed, who is not in this team, Thomas Partey has been around this team for a long time. And he plays, and we all know what Thomas Partey can do. You have Antoine Semenyo, you have Jordan, you have Jiku. And these are players that we've been using. And you watch these players, some of them at their club level, and they are playing great football. So why is it that when these players come together under our technical team, they are not able to excel? Maybe we should also ask ourselves, such questions that why is it that these players are playing well at their club level? We also Abdul Fattah Issahaku, what he's been doing for Leicester City. Why is it that Abdul Fattah Issahaku comes to the Black Stars and he's not able to perform? So we should also look at that. What is it that we're doing in our national team that we are not doing well for these players not to perform like the way they are doing at their club? Semenyo plays very well under Pep Guardiola, but Semenyo comes to the Black Stars and he's so average, like a player who just probably maybe graduated from an academy and was sent to Europe. That's what we should be asking ourselves. If we put together players who are playing very well at their club and they are not excelling in the national team, that is down to coaching.
But you see, there's one point I want to make, and this is factual. Now, listen to this analysis. Coach Kwesi Appiah, he was sacked from the Black Stars. He went to Sudan. He's performing. Coach CK Akono was sacked from the Black Stars because of bad performance. He's in Kenyan club and he's on the first position, I think. So my point is that I'm not defending coaches. Where a coach is not doing well, he must be fired, because this is our country, this is what we have. But I mean, analytically, the problems are beyond coaching. So do you want to tell me? And my point is that I've given you 2 examples. 2 coaches that have not performed well at the Black Stars and were sacked are doing extremely well in a club and a national team now.
I think those are different. Those are different issues. CK Akono is handling a club team, so of course he has time to train with them week in, week out. And that probably will change. Black Stars national team, you don't have that luxury of time. That's why you need to put together.
Kwesi Appiah is not handling a club team.
Yes, but Kwesi Appiah is handling players that play in their local league. He's handling players. They don't have a league now. They don't have a league, but he's handling players that have been playing together for a very long time. So that makes it way simple. Kwesi Appiah is not handling players that are coming from elsewhere, like the way we call our players from different teams, and we have to put them together to form a system to play. No, that's not what is happening. He's already using players that know themselves very well, and we've seen in the past what that has done for our national team. That anytime you use players that played together for a very long time, we excel. Even in this current Black Stars team, we've called up so many new players. Coach, if you can go through the list. If I'm lying, just tell me I'm lying. We've called up so many new players in this Black Stars team. You're going for a major tournament such as the World Cup, and is this the time to do that? Certainly not. So if you want to look at those two examples, I think we also need to look at the mechanism at which these coaches are working with in terms of what they have at their disposal. One is club, the other also has players that have been playing together for a very long time. So it makes it a different case with that of our current coach. I mean, I love Otto Addo. I've always wanted our own to handle our teams. When Kwesi Appiah was in charge of our team, I was so happy, and that I always wanted him to continue. But of course, it got to a time where things were not working, and that we needed to part ways with him. CK Akono started the qualifiers at a point it wasn't going well, But these coaches have found a way to bounce back. Otto Addo qualified us for the first World Cup, and I'll not take that credit away from him. People sometimes say, oh, the players, Ghana, Nigeria doesn't follow any form guide. Anyone can win. Nigeria had all the best players, but we were still able to beat them. Yes, the coach did some work. That's why we qualified. So I'll give him that credit. And as I mentioned, I would have sacked Otto Addo the time he failed to qualify us for the AFCON. He bounced back to qualify us for the World Cup. Yes, he has earned the right to be there. But if it is not good, coach, we have to be frank and tell our friend that it is not good. So he needs to get his acts together. Coaches have come into the Black Stars with having little of what Otto Addo is having or has gotten, and they've performed. Avram Grant was appointed prior to, I think, 2015, Equatorial Guinea. Avram Grant was appointed 2 months to the World Cup, to the African Cup. What did he do? He took us all the way to the finals. We lost to Ivory Coast on penalties. So sometimes it's not how long you spend with a team, but it's what you have and what you offer. This is someone who has been given all the help that any coach will ask for, but it is not working. So for how long would we sit back and say, oh, let's continue to give him time? As I keep saying, I am not saying we should sack Otto Addo, but also I will not disagree with anyone who say he should be fired.
Okay, so now we need to start looking forward, and Germany, Doc, for you, Germany is a familiar territory because of that major assignment that you undertook with the Black Stars in 2006. And so we're going to go over to Germany now and speak to Felix Christopher Labam, who's a journalist, and he's been doing a lot of monitoring of the German national team. Remember Germany's heroics in the year 2014, when they conquered the whole world and gave Brazil a very big shock of their lives right there, at the Maracanã. So all of this we're trying to put in perspective. Ghana and Germany is a known fixture at the FIFA World Cup. But how are things going to play out now that Ghana finds itself at this very, very tight corner? Felix, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, talking about the German, bringing up the 7-1 victory against Brazil always is a good start. So it always puts a smile on the face of any German.
Very well, great stuff there. Now let's get into the the conversation about this upcoming friendly. Now, what's the immediate reaction what are the immediate reactions that have come, there in Germany? after this 5-1 drubbing by Austria, definitely Germany is a bigger fish, in better form, and probably would see this as well. Ghana coming with you.
I definitely think that Germany is a bigger fish compared to Austria, but on the other hand, Austria is a strong team, especially with their experienced coach Ralf Rangnick, who has been coaching in Germany. He was a coach in Germany for many, many years, and you could always see that he gives his teams a special characteristic, good strategy, good tactics. So this 5-1 defeat yesterday it was a friendly match, so it was not good. There's a lot of improvement, too, and I was like, okay, there's a lot of things to work on, but basically in a friendly match like this, whether you lose 5-1 or 3-1 or 4-1, there should not be the big difference concerning how you want to move on. For Germany now, I saw the match yesterday, Germany playing against Switzerland, and the defense was struggling. So it was 4-3 against Switzerland. Germany's offense really strong as usual in the last years with Florian Wirtz from Liverpool, Kai Havertz, Arsenal, then all the Bayern Munich players. So that was strong. But you could see that the defense, there's still a lot of work to do for the German national coach. So for me, I think for Ghana, they should try to attack German defense, and who knows?
And in terms of confidence, when it comes to the fans, I mean, Germany and Switzerland, yes, very, very common, because of the sharing of borders and all of that. But beyond that, how confident are the fans in the German national team of 2026 as we build up to the FIFA World Cup? Because you're former winners of this competition. In terms of pedigree, you're up there. And so anybody would want to give you very high ratings going into the competition. But
that'd be nice. I mean, we're building up again in some ways too, because the last two editions of the World Cup, we didn't make it out of the group stage. So 2018, after we won the World Cup in 2014, 2018 was quite a horrible performance in Russia, and then the last World Cup in winter in Qatar was not much better either. So after that, we started to build up a new team, bring in more young players, a new coach. And so 2024, when the Euro was in Germany, that was a tournament that brought the fans and the team a little bit more together. Because before, many fans were complaining that these young, rich players are way out of touch, that they could not identify with their national team anymore. But now, since the results are getting better and you see the young players playing better together and achieving those results, I think that the closer we get to the tournament, German fans will also put their eyes more on the national team. In these days, it's more about their club teams, but I think when we're moving closer to the World Cup, they're going to get a lot of attention, and then our nation finally will hopefully unite behind them, so we have a chance. You never can count out Germany. When we get rolling, and if the offense is starting to play well together, the defense is strong, and also we're going to see there's still 2 or 3 open spots in the starting 11. Who's going to get them? And I think we're going to have a strong team, and always one of the top 8 teams you could consider for the title.
Coach, let me give you this one. Felix has spoken about how potent the attack is, the German attack is. He admits, however, that their defense, slips a little bit, and you could even tell from the kind of scoreline that was recorded against Switzerland in this last friendly. Now, for you, what kind of game would you want to see the Black Stars play against the German side that is very attack-minded?
Absolutely not a 4-4-2 system, because then if you do not get your wingers to really support the defense in a 4-4-2 system, your defense would lose, and then a team like Germany would just keep punishing you. I am of the belief that if you really want to counter a team that is really good up front, you have to make sure that you seal your midfield. You do not give them the opportunity to break the midfield line to even get to the extent of the attacking line where they could do the damage. So I would rather look at having 2 defensive midfielders against Germany. and then try and see if we can hit them on a counter attack. So if a team like Germany is deadly up front, you really would have to make sure they do not beat your midfield line, because once they build the midfield line, that's the end of you. You just be receiving the goals, and if you don't take time, you even go beyond the 6-1 that we have recorded. So I am very, very optimistic that Coach Attoh Addo, should know better, and I do not expect to see a 4-4-2 lineup for our match against Germany. We cannot survive with a 4-4-2 lineup against Germany. And I want to be recorded. I want to be referred to by this statement. I would be surprised if Attoh Addo comes up with a 4-4-2 system against Germany. That would be deadly.
Well, deadly indeed. I'll be sharing some of the messages that are coming in, here on the show. You could join us. Remember, it's 055-1111-997. The last time I watched a Ghana-Germany fixture was in Brazil. It was in the city of Fortaleza. I covered that game, and I do remember that the German fans had outnumbered us greatly. To a 90-1 degree. Now, the only players who I believe got the attention of the German fans was Andre Dedeayu, Michael Essien, and of course Kevin Prince Boateng. So anytime, especially in the pre-game formalities during that period, you saw the German fans, because they had a bigger voice on the day. Now, Felix, question to you is, who are the German fans? Is there any talkability around any of the players in the Black Stars team?
Of course, some big stars like Antoine Semenyo, that's a player that German fans will be looking at. Then, unfortunately, Mohamed Kudus is out because of his injury. But I say always, Germans love also those underdog stories. So Benjamin Assare, personally for me, and I also hope for the German fans, was somebody to really look at and put a spotlight on for the tournament, because he's a goalkeeper coming from Ghana Premier League. He's not yet playing for one of these big European clubs, and I think, as far as I know, he has like a strong character, is a pretty good guy. So I hope for Benjamin Assare, who's going to get, I think, the chance to play as a goalkeeper on Monday and not Ati Ziggy. So I think if it's Assare, as expected, he's going to get a chance for really playing a strong game and hopefully win some new German fans.
Okay. Coach.
Can I just add that, and just to take our minds back to that game between Ghana and Germany in Brazil, we're actually the only country that got a result. The only country that got a result from Germany. So that's, and of course at the time Kwesi Appiah was the coach. So again, these it for me again it comes back to what energy are you impacting to the players? What instructions? How do they see you? How do they relate to where you've been before, what you've delivered before? And again, just Ghana Germany is a big fixture. I can remember the one in South Africa as well, as very, very close match. And so it should follow the similar trend. Yes, and it will be unfortunate if we don't believe in ourselves that we can deliver that.
Now, Doc has raised a very important point here about how much confidence the coach draws out of the players. And you're looking at the Mourinho situation where he had a set of players of African descent and some from other parts of the world who created a very, very big legacy at Chelsea at the time, where he drew a lot. You look at the Alex Ferguson stories. You look at all others. Didier Deschamps, who after being captain to lift the trophy, now came to lead the French side to set this very important record. Franz Beckenbauer. So Doc is raising a very, very important point about drawing. Drawing a lot of confidence out of the players and making the players have that level of confidence in you as the coach as well.
Yes. And I still the Trail and Dogs comments that at least we have some story with the Germans, you know, and if we can actually build on that one, it will go. I mean, it will show in the results. Even if we lose, it will show in that particular results. And I remember so well in that particular Brazil, we actually brought the results out of, and we played very well in that particular game. That was one of the Black Stars tournament game that I actually won 90 minutes of.
Wow.
You know, so and maybe it was also because of my father. My father has a very, very good relationship with the Germans because he worked there and lived there and all of that. So it was amazing watching that game. Now, I think Monday going into that game, we should just go into that game with some sort of character, you know. And I like what he said about the fact that they were actually looking forward to see Benjamin Asare do some heroics in Germany because they like stuff like that. I think the players should draw on the energy of Asare if he's selected, because we all know what he brings to the pitch. You know, imagine Benjamin Asare as a captain; he'll be all over the place as even a goalkeeper. So that if we even bring that even 20% of what we played against the Germans in 2014, we can actually get some sort of results, a good result, even if we lose to the Germans. You know, so and that's what we want. If we see the character, if we see the Black Stars showing up, and Ernest was saying it, that if we go into that game drawing from the performance from the Austrian game, and we see all this chatter on social media, in our media, and let's just go and show Ghanaians that we can actually do something at the World Cup. And this is what we have for them. You know, if we even bring 20% of what we played in 2014 against the Germans, it would be a very good game to watch.
If I were Asare, I would just be fasting and praying that I'm not to be able to maintain my performance. And because really it's going to be a difficult game, and I like the perspective you're coming from, that how would the coach going to motivate the players, or what confidence would the coach have in the players? And I think Otto Addo's case should even be a case study. Look, for all you know how Germans are. Maybe my friend would they are straightforward. For all you know, Otto Addo is being straightforward with the players, and for that reason, he's not getting the best out of them. A proper German person will not mingle or divert when he wants to say.
Quote the words.
He will just say it right away. And you and I know very well that the upbringing of our players, they are not used to that. Ghanaians are not used to that. Perhaps maybe that could even be problems that Otto Addo is really facing to get the best out of the players. Maybe some other time we could talk about that.
Very well. Still here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. As a strong set of 5 contributors to the show this afternoon. Felix is a German journalist joining us from there. Also joining us from the heart of the UK is Benedict Owusu, and Dr. Yain Fojo is the first psychologist to have handled the Black Stars at the FIFA World Cup. This was in Germany in 2006. Coach Osman Seidu is a seasoned analyst and also a certified scout. And of course, Kwabena Poku is the president of the Motorsport Association of Ghana, a football fan, and one who's a marketing communications specialist, telling us about some of the effects that this loss is having on the marketability of Ghana at the World Cup. You know, like has been mentioned already, we just participated in the launch of a very, very important fundraising campaign for Ghana's participation, and the zeal and the eagerness could suffer a bit, and whatever performance is put up in the next game against Germany is what would also help people to get back on the trail. Let's get back to Felix. Felix, what kind of result are you looking at? I mean, from the look of things, if you should project with all the realities staring at us.
And that could be a reality from my heart or reality from my mind. Which one do you prefer?
Well, from a very technical and football perspective.
Okay, from a football perspective, if Germany and Ghana both are playing their best game, Ghana has no chance. So, but it's a friendly match. A lot of these German players already played many, many matches in their specific clubs. Some of them going to play, or most of them going to play also in important matches next weekend. So who know? We don't know if they're going to give like 80%, 90%, 100% on Monday. With that in mind, I think if the Ghanaian team really is like what you just said, Coach, strong defense, really aggressive, try to show these German skilled offense players that it's not going to be a fun game for them. Play fair. I mean, nobody wants anybody to get injured before the World Cup, but show them we are here on the pitch as Ghana and we are fighting strong, and then have counterattacks against their, sometimes shaky defense. That could lead at least to 1 or 2 goals from the Ghana side, and then who knows? Maybe it's a 2-2. I mean, that's kind of like what I would hope from my heart, like a 2-2, but if everything goes as expected, I would rather say something like 3-1 Germany, 3-1, 4-1, but also that would not be a huge catastrophe for Ghana. Because what I think also, when you look at the World Cup, and that's everything we should have in mind is the World Cup. So when you look at the World Cup, the path to the next round for Ghana is quite easy, because they're in this kind of strong group with Croatia, England, Panama. So for me, it's like, okay, Ghana has England and Croatia. If England and Croatia are playing strong, it's going to be tough competing with them. But if the defense of Ghana is strong and they're playing physically strong and mentally strong, they can get 1 draw out of those 2 games. And then you got a final match against Panama, which is kind of like a team Ghana should be able to win if they got a good day. So that'd be 4 points off to the next round. Nobody's going to talk about losses against Austria or Germany or any kind of friendly matches and Coach Attoh. So that'd be my perspective on the next weeks and months.
Benedict, so what if Ghana wins this game, really? What if Ghana wins this game?
No, it will be great. It will be amazing in terms of getting people back with their confidence.
And Benedict, before you go on, will the conversations around our form, the coach, and everything change? Because football fans can get very funny when the tides turn like that, you know.
Oh yeah, it definitely will change. I mean, when Otto failed to qualify for the AFCON, the conversations were different from after he qualified for the World Cup. So it will definitely change if we're able to get a result and also the performance is good. It will instill the confidence back in this team going into the World Cup. I know, a lot of us don't see, I mean, the friendly matches are good preparatory grounds for the World Cup. It makes you test your players and see where you are going into the tournament. But you always cannot also say that this is what you're going to get from the team at the World Cup. It's definitely going to be different because at the World Cup, players are well motivated more than playing in these friendlies. For all you know, some players doesn't want to even put their best forward to get injuries and all of that because, of course, they are saving themselves for the World Cup, which is a much bigger stage than playing in these friendlies. But we also have to show something. And as Felix said, if you look at the German team and you look at some of the players in there, Bayern Munich, of course, are hoping to get back-to-back, Bundesliga title. They're also in the UEFA Champions League, and they have so many players in the team. Arsenal are also hoping to win the Premier League and win other trophies they have. Kai Havertz, Liverpool will be hoping to make the top 4. They're also in the UEFA Champions League as well as the FA Cup. They have Vets in there as well. So these are players that, of course, will have their minds back to their respective clubs because we're getting to the business end of the season and they would want to help their respective clubs. Also thinking of the World Cup because this is a very critical, crucial moment for all these players. When they are playing, they are thinking about injuries to themselves, trying to avoid injuries going into the World Cup, also wanting to help their respective clubs. So all these will play into the game on Monday. And I just pray that, we go in there and as Kobna said, we'll show character, which is very important. Let people see that, yes, what we saw in a game against Austria is not who we are. That does not represent us, but this is who we truly are. And as I said, these friendlies are there to guide us to prepare our team going into the World Cup. So I just pray that we get a good result to change the narrative around the team. But if we go in, God forbid, and it happens that we lose 5 or even more than what we did against Austria, then, you know, I don't have to tell you that. You know the conversations that will come after that, and that will not be good for the team going into the World Cup.
Okay, all right. Very well. Now, you do all know that the Japanese Grand Prix is coming up, this weekend. And if things had gone well last night, I'm sure that many people would have come to watch the watch party with Ghanaian jerseys, especially now that we're wrapping up Ghana month. Kwabena, tell us about the excitement around the Japanese Grand Prix. I'm very certain that we would have seen some good Ghana jerseys there.
Of course, we would have seen some Ghana jerseys there and all of that. But I mean, the Japanese Grand Prix is always fun to watch because it's one of the most interesting tracks and circuits on the calendar. The circuit is shaped like the number 8 Suzuka. So Suzuka, and it has long straight surges and all of that. But what's exciting about the Japanese Grand Prix is that McLaren has had a very difficult start of the season in Australia and China, and going into Japan, they came into FP1 and they meant business. FP2 they meant business. And if you look at the qualifying stages, they are in there. Their season started with the Mercedes and the Ferraris, but the McLarens are in the mix now, and they are showing face now. They are showing the character of that Mercedes engine they purchased. Mercedes was very dicey with them. They gave them the engine, they gave them the manual and then the software, but they didn't tell them the potential they can pull out of the engine. And I think the McLarens have figured it out now, and so they are in the mix. I mean, I would have predicted the Mercedes and the Ferrari on the podium at the end of the race tomorrow, but now I'm predicting the Mercedes and McLaren and the Ferrari. So we're going to have out of the 24 cars, 6 cars really turning up from the word go and giving us a spectacle. So
what's going to be the plan for the viewing party
tomorrow? It'll
be very early.
Yeah, based on the time difference. I think the race is 5 a.m. in Ghana. The build-up is from about 4 a.m. So we'll be at Starbites in East Legon from 4 a.m. The race starts at 5 a.m. in Kumasi.
So it really means that if you leave home from midnight, you're
not going back home too.
Yeah.
I mean, in Kumasi, the guys are going to be in Asuka Starbites. In Cape Coast, you're going to be in Club 161, and then in Takrady, they are in Top Base and Moodbar. So, as I was saying, the build-up starts from 5 a.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning. So, those guys who are going out tonight, I mean, old guys like us, in quotes, we have to sleep till about 8 or 9 in the evening before we step out. But the young ones, I mean, they have.
And of course, those who have to take exits from home, I have given you part of the application. So
the application,
do the rest.
I'm going to watch F1 and done there, so I have to stay awake.
All right, Governor, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Felix Alaban is a journalist from Germany, joining us and bringing us some perspective. And of course, Benedict Owusu also joining us from the heart of the UK with some analysis on this particular game.
My voice.
So we're looking forward to the game on Monday.
What up?
We're going to bring you a lot of analysis ahead of the game. Bring you live commentary right here as well.
Lord of mercy. Yeah,
and of course, would like to say a very big thank you to Dr. Fojo. Thank you so much for always honoring the invitations. He's Ghana's very first psychologist at the FIFA World Cup. He's a cocoa farmer as well. Yeah. Or Hini Cocoa. Right?
Oh, he's rich.
Yeah. We should visit his farm one of these days, huh? And of course, one of the aides, the key aides to the chief imam. Yeah, Coach Osman Seidu. Congratulations to you as well. Yeah, recently he bagged some academic degree. Hey, this one is the one that is certified by GTEC. You know those ones. Gentlemen, thank you all so much for the time. It's been amazing sharing your company this afternoon. Thank you so much. And of course, to all of our friends who sent us messages, we're grateful to you. We're not able to read all of them, but well, it's all good. And so we hope that the Black Stars will just rehash and get things done so that we can get the groove going and record a decent result against Germany, and then we can look ahead to the final set of qualifiers ahead of participation in the FIFA World Cup. Thank you all so much for listening to the show. And of course, this week, you don't talk about the World Cup and myself. You know, you all do remember when Ghana was trying to qualify for the 2022 edition, when we had to play Nigeria away. Yes, that 1-1 draw. That was when my only son was born, 25th of March. So Jeremy Attoh, my only son, was born on the 25th of March. I had to watch that game, in the lobby of the hospital. Can you imagine? When people were celebrating Thomas Partey's goal, I was alone. So happy birthday to my son, Jeremy Attoh. And then my nephew was also born on 27th of March. Brian Kofi Prempebeko. Yeah, two strong young guys. Happy birthday to all of you. Talk about birthdays, Ochame Kwame. One consistent face in music in Ghana is celebrating 50 years of life. Charlie 50 5.0. So this afternoon on Showbiz A to Z, the focus is going to be on our creators in Ghana with Ochame Kwame under the spotlight. Of course, we'll be looking at his contributions in music, looking at some of the big hits that he's brought us, celebrating this beautiful legacy. Kwame Dazi is here, all fired up for the show. Kwame, now, haircut here, friend is saying, haircut now.
It doesn't have a name.
Oh, you have to look for a name for it too.
I should find a name for it. You love it. Like it be Rasta small, like it be gentle small. We mix everything.
Yeah, man. Charlie, good to see you again, man.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you. Yeah.
I've been seeing you on screen, hosting high-profile events and all that.
Yeah, we thank God for that. Yeah, we did.
I have a brother of you on the show today.
Oh, yeah?
Kafui Day.
Oh, Kafui, great. Yeah,
he's here.
Kafui has been doing a great job, having conversations with some of our senior citizens.
Awesome.
And, I've been listening to some of them. I mean, some of our pioneers in our various sectors in our national life, and I think is a great job. We need to commend him greatly for that.
Exactly.
And I'll be glad to listen to some of the experiences.